The following program is intended for mature audiences.
A democratic republic of sports. The Sportsocracy with ESPN Asheville hosts Tank Spencer and Jeremy Greene.
Live from the Wicked Weed Studios, wickedweedbrewing.com. Drink different. I'm Jeremy Greene. This is Tommy Bradley and Brian Haynes, and this is the Carolina Panthers 2021 off-season review brought to you by the Sportsocracy. Be sure to click the like and subscribe button. Join us 9 a.m. every weekday morning for the Sportsocracy Morning Show. The takes won't always make you feel warm and fuzzy, but they'll always be true. Tommy, you are a Carolina Panther fan extraordinaire, so I'll let you take the lead here for the Carolina Panthers and their off-season review.
This is my team, but around here at the Sportsocracy, we're a hashtag no homer. So I had to be realistic. Had them with 9 wins this year. When we do these off-season reviews of how they did, it really comes down to me what kept you from being a playoff team or a contender the year before, and what things did you do in that off-season to fix it. I think the main thing they had trouble with was not having enough pass rush opposite Burns and not being able to cause turnovers. So what they do in free agency, got Hassan Reddick, another pass rusher, take some pressure off Burns. We still got Yetur Gross-Matos, got Morgan Fox, got some a nice little rotation there on the ends, and then brought in Daquan Jones from the Titans. He's been a good pass rushing D tackle to take some pressure off Derek Brown in the middle. So I like what they did there, getting J.C. Horn in the first and A.J. Boye. He's suspended the first 2 games, but once he comes in week 3, I think you've got 2 really long, rangy corners that you can finally play some press man with on the outsides, and then have Dante Jackson trying to be your ball hawk in the back end. So obviously we know what the things that they've changed on offense, getting Sam Darnold in, hoping that he can help out in the fourth quarter, the end of game drives that we struggled in last year. But really, I mainly love what they did in the offseason as far as free agency and the draft on fixing that defense.
Yeah, I mean, the Panthers are definitely improved this season. I had them at 9-8.
You both did, actually.
Just missing the playoffs, I had them at. Listen, I think Sam Darnold is going to be a really, really good quarterback. I know there's been I see about 50-50 people are like, yeah, he's going to be good, or yeah, he's going to be bad. I just think he's going to get into this Joe Brady system, and he's going to love it. I think he's going to excel in it. I like where they still good at wide receiver, even losing Curtis Samuel. I love the draft pick of Shi Smith. I think he's going to be a stud for this team.
I think he's a better receiver than Terrace Marshall. Yeah. Long term.
Wow. That's awesome. And, I just really like a lot of the things. The Brady Christensen draft pick was also very well.
What scares me is they think he's a left tackle.
And I'm a little concerned about that, too. I just think it's a depth piece that they needed. And also, it's going a little bit under the radar, but the more and more I think about it, the Tommy Tremble tight end pick, I think is going to work out pretty well for them. And you're going to have some different kinds of your tight ends out there that are going to be blocking in a different rate than you've had in the past.
The thing about Carolina is they saw Tommy Tremble exactly the same way I did. A lot of teams thought he could only be a fullback, a Kyle Juszczyk type in the NFL. I don't agree, and I never did. Now, do I think he could be a high-level player at that position? Absolutely. I think he's a better receiver than you saw at Notre Dame. And I'm going to be honest with you, with the Sam Darnold thing, I am a diehard sad Jets fan. I have watched a lot of Sam Darnold, and I will tell you, the people that have drawbacks about his talent are patently false. He was put into a shitty Adam Gase system that he had no shot to win in. And now he gets a fresh start in Carolina with better weapons than he's ever had. The line does make me nervous. The defense is really young, and I think they'll get into some shootouts. A lot of people don't seem to understand that a lot of rookies come in and struggle early, and that's been my fear on J.C. Horn. I got kind of raked over the coals for saying I didn't love him at 8. I didn't have him as the number 8 player in the draft. And I don't overdraft guys in the top 10. That's always been a philosophy for me. However, I think he's going to be a good player in the long term. I just think there's going to be some growing pains. I'm hoping Carolina does not intend to set him out on an island as a number 1 top 10 pick corner from Jump Street. I think that's a recipe for disaster with him. Now, that being said, the defense is markedly better than it was. And I think all of these things together with Sam Darnold gives this team absolutely the ability to be a contender for a wild card spot in the NFC.
Yep.
Yeah, no doubt. And as far as J.C. Horn, I had the same opinion. Getting him at 8 was a little bit too early. But the more I look at this kid, I mean, he's got the makeup, he's got the length, he's got the attitude that Matt Rhule loves. To be able to come in there and feel like he can play right away. And yeah, there's going to be some growing pains. Jeremy said he's a little bit grabby in coverage, but compared to what the Panthers have had in the secondary with the injuries, with Dante Jackson really being our only corner that's worth starting, and he was injured most of the past couple years. So I think anything's going to be an improvement on that back end. And the way they were doing crazy schemes last year, they were running a college 3-3-5 at one point, trying to cover up. So they're not scared to do some outside the box schemes. I'm interested to see where Jeremy Chinn's playing, if he's going to be strictly at strong safety, which they said or free safety, which they said they wanted him to get back there, but he played really well at linebacker this year, and he's going to be covering some tight ends like Kyle Pitts in the division. So I'm interested to see how the secondary plays out. And my main thing was it's all kind of going to ride on Sam Darnold, obviously, but that line as well. They went out the first day of free agency and signed Cam Irving and Pat Elflein to contracts that not a lot of people thought were great deals. I think they're not bad. If you look at their numbers this year, it's only $3 or $4 million. Goes up a little more next year. So we'll see how it plays out. But I think the line and Sam Darnold's really going to be the big question.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what this team can do. I feel like Robbie Anderson's going to have a huge year.
He's my favorite fantasy player for ADP. ADP's coming from fantasyfootballcalculator.com. Yes, there are people who are actually doing fantasy drafts right now, and Robbie Anderson's coming in backside around 9, early around 10. It's tremendous value.
Oh, I mean, dude, the familiarity with Darnold alone is going to be really amazing. I just think that was another key for Darnold coming in, is the familiarity he had with him already. What I want to talk about with the Panthers a little bit we talked about a lot last year, the clock management issues that they had a lot. Matt Rhule really needs to take a step forward this year and making sure that they're not blowing those timeouts like they did and getting themselves in bad positions.
I agree with you. One thing I'll say to what you said about Robbie Anderson, as a sad Jets fan, I'm going to tell you, be very cautious of how much you put into that. Because, yes, there were good games with Robbie and Sam. It was horribly inconsistent. Now, was that an Adam Gase thing? It's entirely possible.
Yeah.
Was it a thing of Robbie's a deep threat, and there are times that Sam gets a little reticent to pull the trigger when he throws an interception or two? I think there's something to that, too. I still think it'll be good. I have the Panthers at 7-10. I am the lowest of the staff on Carolina. But I think a year from now, this is the team that takes over the NFC South when Tom Brady decides that his 87-year-old ass is ready to go and make pancakes and wears Ugg boots while he's hanging upside down with his smoking supermodel wife.
Yeah.
For Tommy Bradley and Brian Haynes, I literally dribbled over our names.
It's okay, man.
It's been a long day.
Yes, it has.
Let me try that again. For Tommy Bradley and Brian Haynes, I'm Jeremy Greene, and this has been the Carolina Panthers 2021 offseason review from the Sportsocracy. This, like all of our videos, is brought to you by Wicked Weed Brewing, wickedweedbrewing.com. Drink different.